Hi again. Let's talk more about parse here. So, in the last example, I created a simple page and we kind of walked through the default code, and we took a look at parse in the on the parse website here. So we're viewing this test object table, right? What if we want to add records instead of adding them directly from parse? We want to actually create a website that lets us upload new records. Okay, so I'm going to go into their default code and I'm just going to delete everything inside this main div here, and you'll notice the default code includes a link to jQuery and then a link to the parse CDN. So in order to work with parse, we have to have this link here to get the parse JavaScript code. Okay, and then jQuery is kind of like a helper library that we can use. So we're going to use both of those. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a form, and then let me kind of fix this a little bit here. There we go. And then maybe I'll give this form a, an ID name. I'll call it, how about add product form. Yeah, there we go. And then, maybe every product that I add is going to have, text field where you can add your name. So let's call this one, ID input name, right? Maybe we'll wrap that in a paragraph. Is probably a smart idea. And then I'll make another field here for the price, right? And we'll set this type to a number, and then we'll say input price. And then we could have another field for the description. Maybe we'll just make this last one the submit button though. Okay, so we'll just submit the name and the price. And then this one can be input submit. Okay, and so now what we want to do is we want to create an object just like they're doing here, but we want to do it by grabbing the data from the form. Okay, so we'll use jQuery, and this is the add product form. So it's an ID name, so I'll put the ID name here and we'll select it. And the jQuery submit method lets us, perform an action in JavaScript when this form is submitted. Okay, so we're going to handle it with this this function here. I'm going to put the event variable here to catch the event object. So when that event occurs, when the submit event occurs on this object here, we'll get an event object describing it. And since I'm going to handle the event with JavaScript, right? I don't want the browser to do what it normally does, which is refresh the page or load another page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put event prevent default. Okay, and this will prevent the browser from refreshing. Okay, because I want to handle everything with JavaScript. So next, and we'll just borrow the code here, we'll want to create a parse object, right, to represent the table, and then or a new parse class, let's say, and then I want to create a new parse object. Now you'll notice this is an uppercase T and that's a lowercase t, so these are two entirely different variables. Okay, just keep that straight. Remember, JavaScript is case sensitive. And then the next thing we want to do is we'll borrow this. I'm actually going to rewrite this a little bit, right? Instead of doing test save, or test object save, why don't we do test object dot set? And this is another way you can set properties on a parse object. So I'm going to say set name to, and what I want to do is I want to get the value from the name field here. So I'll use jQuery and we'll say input name dot val. Okay, so that'll give me the value in the input name field up here, or the field with the ID input name. Okay, and if you want to set more than one property, you can just do this again. And you can just keep doing this as many times as you like, right? Maybe I want to set the price property, and then I'm going to say input price dot val, and this one will actually get an error, I think. So we should actually convert this to a number first. So we'll call that a number. Okay. So test object set price, input price val. Okay. So dot val gives you the value from the field, and then we'll do this last step here, and we'll just do test, save. Okay. And I'm going to write this like this. I'm going to say test object dot save, and I think you can leave that first parameter out. If not, we'll have to put something in there, right? But essentially what I've got here is let me actually go back, right? I've just got save, and then there's a JavaScript object here with these curly brackets. Let's zoom in on that, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to add two properties here, success and error. And each one of these is going to be a function. So if I type, success colon function, and then type comma error colon function, right? Then I'm all set, right? But this reads a little weird. So what I like to do is I like to put success on the next line, and then the curly braces here on another line, and then do these curly braces on the next one, and then do this one like that, right? So we say save, and then on a successful save, we do this. And actually what Parse is going to do on a successful save is it's going to pass test object back to us. So we'll receive it here. So you can just put a variable name. And if you want, you can, also maybe for now, put a console log message into this little function right here. But if you wanted to handle the save action when it's completed successfully, you could put any code here that you wanted to do. I'll say save success, right? And then over here, it will give us the model object and, more importantly, an error object. So if we make a mistake here, we can log the error message. I'll say save error, and then the error message has a message property attached to it, or the error object, I should say, has the message property attached to it. So we can log that message and then see what our trouble is, right? So I'm going to delete this code here. And so now my page is just going to use the code that I've created. And my code, rather than just running when you refresh the page, this time you're going to click the submit button. And when you click the submit button, we're going to prevent the default behavior, create the parse object, or the new class, right? And then create a new record, right? And then we'll add some properties to that record. And then we'll save it. And then it'll tell us, hey, success or error, okay? Let's take a look here now. So I'm going to, just for testing purposes here, I'm going to open up the console. Right, so I'm in Chrome, so if you just, right click or control click, you can choose inspect element, right? You'll see the inspector down here, and then you can go to the console right here, and then we'll refresh. Oh great, no errors, and there's my form. I'll say new product is an apple, and then I'll say it cost $33 or something, and then I'll click submit, and it says save success. Great. So let's go over to Parse now, and I'll refresh Parse here. You can't see it. There's a little refresh button off to the side here. I don't know why it's off the edge there, but I think if I click right on the edge, it'll refresh. oh look, and then there's a new record, Apple, with a price of 33. So there you go. So now if you wanted to create a website that, allowed people to, input stuff and save it in a database, this is halfway there, right? So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody. We'll do some more of these in the future.